Okay, so this is the second video I'm attempting in one day. Hopefully this one will be better. One of the main things that I'm reflecting on, and one of the reasons I started this channel, is to kind of analyze the way that my disability affected my self-esteem and in a way shaped me into who I am today. And what is self-esteem? The self-esteem is the way that you see yourself, which unfortunately a lot of it is constructed based on the way that you're treated, based on the way that your family treats you, based on your upbringing, and based on the way that your peers treat you. And I'm not going to say that I had a horrible, uh, that my parents were horrible, because they weren't. They were good parents, but they were in a lot of ways ignorant on the topic of CP. So one of the things that I think really affects people with disabilities is that society often sees us as people who need to be fixed. Our disability needs to be fixed. I know that for my family, that's the way that it was a lot of the time. Looking for a cure, something to make the issue better, something to help me walk better, something to something that would get me to walk straight, because they didn't want me limping. And of course, part of that was probably because that made me different, right? But the fact is that cerebral palsy, or CP, I'm just going to refer to it as CP from now on, is not curable. It's a lifelong condition. It can't be cured, it can't be fixed, it can't be undone. And when the people closest to you treat it as something that should be cured, something that needs to be fixed, when a fundamental part of you, which is what CP is, it's part of me, is treated as something that needs to be fixed, well, that takes a toll on your self-esteem. And as for the way that you're treated by peers, by the people that you're around, the kids that you may be around growing up, the kids you go to school with, it goes without saying that I've experienced a lot of bullying, a lot of mistreatment, a lot of mocking on the part of a lot of kids, because I walked different. And again, I think that people in general have a desire to be accepted. And when you're not accepted, and when you're made fun of because of something that is a fundamental part of you, that takes a toll on your self-esteem, because it's something that you can't change. Whether it be a disability, your gender, your race, your, whatever. Something that makes you different from what society considers the norm. um, that is part of you. And when somebody sees it, and when the majority of other people treat it as something bad, then I think that inevitably makes you feel like you're the one that's not good enough. You're the one that needs fixing, or that you will never be good enough. And maybe that's the root of the problem. Maybe that's why I always feel like I'm not enough. That's why I always feel like I'm not good enough, because a fundamental part of me, being my CP, was always looked down on. And I can't fix it. I can't undo it. I can't change it. It's part of me. And if you're not okay with part of me, then you're not okay with all of me. And in constantly getting rejected and made fun of, well, it takes a toll on you, and you eventually learn to keep to yourself, like I did, like I have for so long. I didn't have very many friends growing up. I think that the way that I coped was by, as soon as I got home from school, I would lock myself in my room and go on my computer and go into like the AOL chat rooms and find people to talk to, because I felt like it was a lot easier for me to connect with people online than in person. Because in person, people treat you differently because of what they see. They see a disability, so they treat me like a disabled person. And online, I found that that wasn't the case, because they're talking to me, through a chat room or whatever it may be. And they would get to know me first as a person, as opposed to the other way around, where it's like when you have a disability, that's the first thing that people see. And inevitably, that's their first impression of you, and that's what they judge you by. And a lot of my friendships and a lot of the people that I came across would pity me. They would feel sorry for me because, oh, that poor little cripple girl. And disabled people don't want that. We don't want pity friendships.